The AM edition.
AM edition. Good morning.
I think this is called what? The tail end of drive time?
This is it. This is you're late.
Yeah.
You're a little late right now. Get to work.
Right. It's summertime.
Well, yeah.
Barely still.
I think a lot of people are on vacation this week anyways.
You would hope. We're not.
No.
Grinding
we're
it out
working.
here in the studios.
Yeah, we're working. We got the license for this one.
Wow. All right.
SportsBiz Radio here on a Tuesday morning, July 30th. Little drive time. We're bringing you a bunch of updates and news. Just a little housekeeping, Coach.
Sure.
So we have decided on a date at the Blue Horse is going to be August 7th and August 14th from 6 to 8 o'clock. That is the Blue Horse West Haven. We're going to be live broadcast 6 to 8 p.m. We'll have some live guests on and be doing our top 10-ish and a bunch of other stuff. So the SportsBiz Radio Zero fact-checking show.
Again.
Yeah.
Two shows. Off-site.
Yeah.
August 7th.
Yeah.
And then
14th.
the following week.
Yeah. That's a Wednesday night. Blue Horse, Campbell Avenue in West Haven. We're keeping it local. So I do have one thing that I want to start off with. And I know you have a robust list over there.
Oh, I got some stuff. Yeah, I got some stuff.
Do you have anything about Fortnite on there?
Quickly, I do.
All right. We could jump into that. But again, if you're watching us and you want to go back to old shows, you could go on SportsBiz Radio on our YouTube channel, and then of course on here on Facebook. Just to give you an update, we will be going to a private Facebook channel, so you can interact. You don't have to worry about the world seeing your questions or our questions. Or our answers.
We're going off
feedback.
the grid.
Yeah, we're going off the grid. So it's going to be a private Facebook channel, SportsBiz Radio. So you could request an invite into that, and all your comments and everything else will be private, just for that group. So be sure to join over there. We haven't switched over yet, but we will coming up. So that's it. Housekeeping is over.
Our house is kept.
Yeah.
As kept as it can be.
All right.
I'm going to start with this.
Yeah.
You mentioned it, the Fortnite, the whole esports.
Yeah.
So I'm like an outlier.
Yeah.
When I do see it, I realize what's going on. I see it on Twitter. I'm not in the gaming world at all, but I see the growth. I see how big this thing already is. Forget how big it's getting. Mm-hmm. It hit home to me when they had some type of championship, and kids, teenagers, whatever they are, however old they are.
It was the World Cup.
The World Cup of esports. Is that what that was?
It was the World Cup of esports, yep.
So, what's the Cadillac of esports? Is it Fortnite?
Well, right now it is.
It is.
Well,
okay.
Right now it is.
So, what'd the winner get?
$3 million.
$3 million.
You're right. That's what the winner got.
Right.
But then there was another 20 that
correct.
I think the second place was 1.8 maybe.
Right. It's structured. Yeah. It's structured kind of like the PBA events, right?
Yeah.
Or poker tournaments as it goes down.
Same thing.
Wow. So that kind of got me.
Yeah.
$3 million.
$3 million.
So then I started doing research.
Yeah.
A little bit and looking at how. Obviously, the channels are huge. Mm-hmm. You know, the top gamers have their own channels, mm-hmm. right? Correct me if I'm wrong in any of this.
Yep.
Have their own channels. There's some guys that get paid to tutor other kids. God, maybe even other adults, for all I know. They get paid to tutor them on how to play these games.
The private coaches.
Hundreds of dollars an hour.
Just like a hitting coach.
It's unbelievable.
Just like a strength and conditioning
It's
coach.
Unbelievable.
There's coaches. Yeah.
And you and I spoke about this privately.
Right.
Here is why this, similar to the poker boom
a
couple, 10, 20, 15 years back now, this is why the appeal for this is so big, because you don't need a special talent. You don't need athletic ability. You don't need height. You don't need a certain degree of strength physically. This is something for the every man, right?
Anybody, any age.
I believe that one of the terms is the NARPs, non-athletic real people.
That's it, the NARPs. Where'd you hear that one? I love that.
That's been
NARPing.
That's been coined in the college athletic world for
a
while. But this is the masses, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to be the top 5% physically.
No.
Height-wise, any of those things.
No.
So I can see this only getting bigger.
Well, there's a couple things, and these are the things that I do know of. First of all, gaming has been around for a very long time.
Yes.
So it's been around.
Kind of underground-ish.
It's been around for 25 plus years. Think about gaming when it came out with. I mean, Madden was really the one thing that kind of turned the competitive business. But you had to be there in one room.
Correct.
Right? So where it's exploded, obviously, is its distribution and its reach and its scalability.
Yes.
And its connectivity. So between Twitch and YouTube. And so think about it this way, and I kind of break it down into a couple different areas that I know enough to be a little bit dangerous with it. But the publishers... So the publishers of Fortnite, publishers, EA Sports with all the stick and ball games as well.
Yep.
They're the ones that control this business. So the way it's monetized, for those that do not know, the way it's monetized, obviously the publishers have the licensing rights. So Fortnite obviously has the licensing rights to their global tournament. So you have to pay Fortnite not only what they're able to monetize because it's this pay for play or free play games like apps that you'll find on your
like Candy Crush, things like that.
All of those. Right. Candy Crush is probably making about $100 million a month. Just in the add-ons, a little $1, $5, $2. Same thing.
Who buys those?
Same thing with Fortnite. So every 65-year-old that's sitting at home, right?
That's
in the Starbucks.
True. That's like their new slot machine,
right? So, and they run it right through iTunes. So it's same thing with Fortnite. The money that's coming in there is it's just outrageous.
Okay.
So the publishers have the rights. So with that, then, now you have the players. So the great thing about these players is they're able to monetize their own brand, like Ninja was one of the greatest Fortnite players up until this point, right? And he was in this tournament. He got knocked out. But how he makes his money is residuals off of, or Google ads, basically off of their YouTube channels.
Off his channel.
So just like poker, where you're sitting there and everybody says, well, who's going to sit there? How many millions of people sit there and watch poker on ESPN?
Yeah.
Right?
Look at the ratings.
And you're watching it. And it's same thing with esports and with gaming. Kids are going to watch. They're going to watch other gamers play, really good gamers play. They're going to sit there and see how they do it. What are their skills? What are they doing differently? So that's been going on for a while now. Twitch is the one that really introduced that. And then obviously now they've all created their own YouTube channel. So they're able to sell their own sponsorship. They're able to drive revenue through Google ads. And then the second part is their competition. Right, and then now they have teams. So if you're going to play in a format that's like Battlestar, they have actual teams. So you have 4 or 5 per teams. They have team owners. They have team tournaments. It's a whole industry in and of itself. So this right here, I think, those parents are sitting up now saying, "Wait a minute here.
Yeah,
there might be something in this."
Yep.
So just think if your kid is a good enough tennis player, right? That 16-year-old that knocked off Serena Williams.
Yep.
She was 16 years old. You think that's a real sport? Right? Because the revenue's behind it. The industry's back behind it. So it's the same thing with esports. But now it went from that back room that, what's he doing in their bedroom?
Right. Why is he not going out on Friday night?
Right. What are they doing? And no different than a tennis player. Unfortunately, it's just the nerps.
Yeah. Not so much. To be honest with you, there's athletes that play this.
Everybody plays. Everybody plays.
So I see it.
Right. I mean, you look at Madden, the same thing. Madden and...
It's crazy.
You
think they get groupies?
FIFA. What's that?
You think they get groupies?
Yeah,
chicks?
12-year-olds. You're right. No,
but
I don't. No, there's no... Well, it depends on how much money you're making.
I don't know.
Yeah, depending on how much money you're making.
Think about how the whole society or the whole... whatever you want to call it, this thing got turned on its head, right? The perceived quote-unquote geeks
right.
are now just...
They're going to be rock stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're rock stars.
Which, listen, I'm a geek on a lot of things.
So you think about this, too. The generation that just kind of come up, so the kids that are in their 20s right now, right, the college students, they grew up with Hannah Montana, Jonas Brothers, High School Musical. The Disney Channel was a big part of their life.
100%.
Right? All the cartoons that came through there. And the parents that kind of lived through watching that as well with their kids. Now it's kind of shifting over. So people are starting to talk about what happened to Disney Channel. Well, the kids' attention.
Right.
It's just their attention. They're not sitting in front of the TV watching a Disney Channel like they used to. No, they're watching YouTube.
Exactly.
Right? On their parents' tablet. When they get mom's tablet. In the car. They're watching YouTube.
For those long trips.
Right. And they're playing video games. Maybe not necessarily the females, but definitely the 10 through whatever your old boys are. So It's never going. So now, how does that equate to next steps? So how does a 16-year-old does that 16-year-old go to college and study esports? Well, it's much bigger than that. I think if it didn't have the name sports in it, I think the higher education will maybe embrace it a little bit more.
Yes.
Because I think they don't know where to put it. They don't know do you put it in athletics? Do you put it in computer science? Do you put it in engineering? Do you put it in graphics? Do you put it in music? Right? You don't know where it should live because it touches everything. Right? There's programming, and there's music, and there's graphic design, and there's marketing, and there's sports management, event management. There's so many pieces of that business that it touches that it's hard to where do you put into it? So where do you put it? But it's starting to happen. So
yeah, I don't know where you put it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It really doesn't.
I don't know if it matters,
right.
But it intertwines a higher educational, all the different colleges within a school and all the different disciplines. It could connect to majority of them. There's voiceover. There's everything that's attached to that. But the one thing that's constant, the one thing that I think that's justified in kind of embracing it as a real career is there's so many things behind it. There's so many opportunities underneath that,
right.
From
than
distribution.
Just being a player.
Than just being a player.
Right.
So if you're passionate about it,
yes.
which there are hundreds of millions of kids through adults that are passionate about gaming, there's a place for you in the industry if you're willing to kind of look at it a little bit differently than just being a participant. So,
well, if it grows in college and you form the team dynamic and things like that,
yeah.
and you give scholarships, it kind of has to go through the athletic avenue then, right? Athletic department realm in a way. I don't know. Does it?
Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, the NCAA is going to try to wrap their arms around this, but the good thing about I don't know if that will happen is because gaming,
right?
Because the broadcast rights the broadcast is really through Twitch and other platforms and Facebook. True. And through. So the reason why NCAA will never go away right now is because of broadcast media.
Correct.
Right.
You're right about that.
So CBS, ESPN, they got them locked down.
Right.
So as long as that $1 billion broadcast rights and people still want to sit there and watch it on a television, not on a tablet or on their iPhone,
right?
As long as that's in place, then the NCAA will always have the power. But right now with esports, the esports numbers are out of control.
I know. I was looking at that.
They're out of control.
It is.
One tournament when Ninja played it out. One tournament against I forget what it was a. It was either again zero fact checking. It was either an NFL player or it was a rapper. They had over 1 billion views. Put it in perspective.
1 billion.
1 billion views. Put it in perspective. The Super Bowl has 120 million.
Right. Yeah. No, this is
globally.
Eclipse. Right.
Right. So, but
this is on World Cup level.
Right. But they haven't figured out how to it hasn't been able to be monetized from a broadcast standpoint yet.
Are they looking for 2 announcers? I mean, you and I could.
Oh, we'll get right in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Nerp herd.
So, I hate to. I know I was a little distracted on my phone.
Go ahead.
This is for good reason. We locked down our first guest.
Yes.
For the August 14th edition of our show at the Blue Horse.
Nice.
West Haven's own Lou Petrucci's coming to town. He's coming to town. He's just locked in. Just locked it in. 14th, everybody. You do not want to miss that.
August 14th, Louis Petrucci will be at the Blue Horse with us.
And all I can say is, you have to come. If he's involved.
This could be Louis' theme song right here.
Yeah.
Louis, we got your theme song.
There'll be many theme songs.
All right, that's awesome. August 14th.
So that's our first guest locked up.
All right, I love it.
So.
Now. All right, what else you got?
Now, what do I got? Well, I had a busy weekend.
Yeah.
I had a busy weekend. Friday, I went to the Godsmack concert at Mohegan Sun. And I was...
How was it?
Well, here's what I wanted to touch on about the risk, so to speak, of casino concerts, right?
Yeah.
There's always a large number of comp tickets that are given out, dispersed, whatever, right? Godsmack is big enough. Like, they can still fill arenas, but there's still a ton of comp tickets.
Right.
So, Mine were. So I picked my tickets up. I had no idea what kind of, where and where I was sitting, whatever. So I pick up the tickets.
Yeah.
And I'm on the floor, general admission, meaning no seats. You get there, you pack it in.
Oh, God.
Right? And it was fantastic.
Was it?
It was fantastic. First of all, they're a New England-based band. They're from the Boston area.
Are they?
Yeah, originally.
Yeah.
And I got to say, like, walking in, I did see some, like, 60-year-old women, and people just got tickets, but the crowd was phenomenal. I had some bumps and bruises.
Going crazy?
A little pushing, a little shoving. Just...
No fights?
There were. It was everything that kind of,
A Godsmack.
Let me tell you what there wasn't, which really made me smile.
Yeah.
There wasn't over-excessive phone recording.
Ah.
First of all, it was sold out. It was packed. It was not an empty seat.
Yeah.
And there wasn't over-excessive, everyone just doing this with their phone and recording everything.
Yeah.
And that made me smile.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you know anything about this, but there are acts now that require you to leave your cell phone before you walk in the venue.
Yeah.
There's a company that actually facilitates you. They lock your phone up for you, free of charge, all that stuff.
Yeah.
You just can't bring them in anymore. And I don't know where that's going to go, and I don't know. There's a lot that goes to that. From an artist perspective, I get it. Number one, you don't want to play to a crowd where all you're doing is staring at a million cell phones in the crowd, right? A lot of these, the biggest thing about being on stage is getting that energy from the audience. And instead, you're just staring at yourself into phone screens. Sometimes people turn their lights on, so it's shining directly on stage. There's a lot of issues. So there's now a company that is facilitating these storages at these shows. Some artists are demanding now.
They lock them up.
Yeah. And people are going bananas about it. But let's be honest. Like, if you're there to really take in the show and you are a fan of this act, why would you want to put that wall between you and the experience? What do you do with the videos other than obviously post them online?
So a lot of people will do just what we're doing. They'll go live.
Yeah.
So they'll do live so their friends could see it and
but
watch it as well.
You're still not getting it. You're not.
You gotta live in a moment because you can't. I did the 2 days at Dave Matthews this summer up at SPAC, and no one had their phones out. Yeah, everybody's just because you're waiting all year for the show to come around, and last
you're going to miss it.
Yeah,
you're going to be there and miss it if that's possible.
You take some pictures in the beginning and stuff, but you're rocking out. Yeah.
So that made me, happy to see some.
We're glad you're happy
to see that.
That's
again.
Very nice.
It was raucous at times.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what you sign up for. I love that.
Right. Were the 60-year-old women in there?
No.
They weren't in there?
I guess I'm assuming they were up in the 100, 200 level seats.
Drinking coffee. Yeah.
The crowd at casino shows, like I said, could be an issue a lot of the times because of the comp tickets. So you're not necessarily getting diehards all the time.
It's like the Super Bowl.
Yeah. But a band like this that is a local act, in a sense, and still has that height of popularity, then they're gonna get, But from beginning to end, it was full throttle. It was fantastic. So leads me that was kind of like my batting practice, right? This Saturday, bringing the wife with me to this one. I went to this concert by myself, which I do a lot because I don't need anyone there. I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to.
You want to get in the moment.
I am there for one thing. Yes, that connection. The music to me means a lot. So I go to concerts by myself. I know it sounds crazy.
Yeah. No, it doesn't.
Well, let's be honest. 70% of the time, no one wants to see who I'm going to see anyway.
God, no, you couldn't have dragged me to Godsmack.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know what? I bet you're wrong. I bet you would have loved it.
Probably.
I'm just saying. So this Saturday,
I would have been up there with a 6-year-old woman drinking coffee.
No, you're the immovable object, man. We would have been right there.
All right. That's true.
It's amazing to me how many guys in their 40s and mid 40s just lose their minds, right?
Right.
But hey, listen, that's part of the thing.
That is part of the thing.
That's passion in a way.
Yeah.
It might be misguided. It might be, and the fights and So anyway, that was my batting practice for this Saturday, which I cannot wait. Taking the wife to this one, we'll be up.
Yep.
Iron Maiden, which
At Mohegan Sun?
No, it's actually in Hartford at the outdoor venue in Hartford.
Gotcha.
Can't wait.
They're letting those guys play outside?
Cannot wait. They just
Iron Maiden outdoors.
It's just
There will be zero pot smoking.
That's the least of your worries.
Yeah. Right.
You know what's weird though? You know
Yeah.
what's weird? Like I don't know that's. If it's funny to say, but I don't know that that's a thing as much as it was anymore.
Yeah,
I really don't. I think it's limited, honestly, now to like booze.
Yeah.
Get yourself feel a little loose.
Yeah.
You know, and then that's kind of gone by the wayside.
Popping a gummy bear.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But for a show like that where it's high intensity,
Yep.
you know, like I remember going to some of the hardest of the hard heavy metal shows, and it was never really that. Like, you can't go to Slayer and be on a different planet.
Right.
You may not make it out.
Yeah.
Right? Like Metallica back in the day, like you had to be. You want listen. I'm not endorsing anything, but I would say some other drugs that maybe the arrow trends that way with them.
Right.
And that brings you this way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can't wait for this. This is they're one of the all-time greats. The set list I already looked up, which I also want to touch on. It's awesome. So full report next week.
I
On
can't
the
wait.
show. It's just
Can't wait.
talk about a band that gets zero radio play, never has, never will, and they sell out every single show, and they're bigger in Europe than they even are in the U.S., and they're huge in the U.S.
Yeah.
Iron Maiden somehow, some way has done this without any exposure in quote unquote mainstream.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
These tickets were gone in 30 seconds when they went on sale. They added another night at the Barclays Center because the demand was so high. They played this past weekend. I saw them 2 years ago at Barclays. Same thing. It's really it's remarkable. It's remarkable.
Oh, they're playing at the Live Nation up in Hartford.
Yeah, Live Nation. Yes.
Yeah. No.
So leads me to my last thing about music. So now, for those of you who don't know, and most of you probably do, or some of you do, you can go and look at the set list of the concert you're going to before the show. So essentially, it's not the show you're going to see per se, but you can see shows they've done in the past week. If a band's touring, they're doing many dates. You can see what the set list is going to be. Like, I knew the Godsmack set list a week before. Mm-hmm. Do you like that or you do not like that? Do you not like? Do you want the surprise or do you want to know? Now, listen, they can always alter, but typically they don't because these things are rehearsed. The set list is rehearsed, so...
The only real group that I'll see live is Dave Matthews. So,
okay.
They do not release the set list because every single show is different.
Okay, so first off, the kiddie game, that's down the street. I'm talking about the real concerts.
Come on, man. Come on.
So they do a revolving set list.
Yeah.
Okay, so looking it up wouldn't matter.
Well, no, you could get a good... But you want to see what they played that night, because sometimes he'll throw in songs that he hasn't played in 25
Right, which is great.
Yeah, so he'll mix it up. So that's why he could play 2-3 nights in a row.
Right.
Same venue, and it's going to be a different show.
Okay.
You know, so that's the beautiful thing about having that kind of talent.
Yeah, well, 100%.
And that deep of a roster of songs.
You need a catalog.
Yeah, you need a catalog. And the magic thing is you have 60-year-olds to 20 to 18-year-olds there. You know?
I mean, he's more of an experience at this point. Like, he's a Disney ride almost, right?
Come on.
No, I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah.
I mean that in
it is.
the sense of...
It is.
Right? It's an experience.
You know, he's one of those bands that... You know, because he's been around for so long, there's such an emotional attachment to it that, you know, like I said, when he goes down to Mexico every year, and it's like a $5,000 ticket for the 3 days, not including everything else, and
which you were at, right?
It was amazing.
Shout out to UNH paying those big dollars.
No, yeah, I wish it was a recruiting trip.
Right.
Yeah, I was housing some, I was hosting alumni.
Yeah.
But anyway, so.
But that I get it, like that. So, let's say Dave Matthews did.
Yeah.
What I'm describing.
Yeah.
Would you want to know or would you not want to know?
Yeah, I would love to know.
Me too.
Yeah.
There are people that are dead set against it.
Yeah, I would.
Here's the thing I always say. If there's songs on there that I haven't listened to in a while or I'm not familiar with, if it's on the new album, I can kind of get familiar, right?
Yeah.
And then...
Get fired up about it.
And I can get upset if the song, there's 2 or 3 that they're not going to play.
Right.
I'm ready for it. Like, I know they're not playing it.
Yeah.
Like Godsmack did that. There was 2 I really wanted to hear. They didn't do it this time around. But there was new songs from the new album, which I started to listen to beforehand.
Right.
I think it's good.
Yeah.
I do. Plus, listen, if you're a guy that likes to get on the beer line, if you're a guy that likes a concession, likes to use the bathroom multiple times, it can tell you when to go and when not to.
That's true.
Because you're all right. I'm not really a fan of this one. I got 5 minutes down and out, right?
Yep.
So I think it's convenience. I like it.
The bathroom songs.
Right. That's just me.
You got the bathroom songs.
Well, listen, every big artist of all time.
Everyone has them.
Hey, we're going to play. This is off our new album. And you see people a sea of people leave.
Flood out.
I see it all the time.
Yeah.
And they go and then, right?
Yep.
All right, honey. You got to use the bathroom? You want another vodka? Let's go.
It was the worst down in Mexico because, he was only there with Tim Reynolds, and him and Tim Reynolds have been playing together for 25 years, right? And when they do an acoustic set, it's amazing, but when Dave lets Tim have a solo, 90% of the people leave.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody's, the 10% that are still there is yelling at everybody. Right. I'm disrespectful. Like, dude, everybody's poor Tim's out there by himself, and it's like no one knows the songs.
Well, I mean, those checks still clear, right?
Yeah.
He'll be all right.
I don't even know why he does it anymore, but maybe
because the check's still clear.
Yeah, exactly. So,
all right, this next thing, this is sports business related, by the way.
Yeah, all right, good. So we're back.
I have figured out.
Yeah.
I have figured out that I have been lied to. A big part of my childhood was a scam.
Yeah.
I'm very upset about it. Very upset about it.
Which part?
Right.
Which part of that?
Right. Like this
Right.
really. This is when you
dug deep.
I felt like I was 12 years old and I was just staring at the wall with my mouth open, like, what? So there's a new documentary on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a weird thing. It's called Jack of All Trades, I believe. Again, side note, zero fact checking.
Yeah.
Has been really coined by Michael Rappaport, who does a fantastic
Is it
podcast.
Zero fact checking?
Zero.
No. Oh, so no.
Zero fact checking, no fact checking. He's got it.
Okay. All
so
right. So we gotta get off it.
We are now transitioning.
Yes.
We are now transitioning.
Yeah.
Okay. To no research analysis.
Yeah, no research analysis. This is NRA.
Yeah. We could call it NRA. We call it whatever we want.
No research analysis.
No, we'll come up with a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
But I'm going to leave the fact-checking thing to him.
Yeah.
He really did. And he's a podcast pioneer in my mind. He's through the roof with his... Love him as an actor. I think he's hilarious.
Yeah, he is.
I listen to his podcast religiously.
Do you?
Yeah, and he's I give big ups to Rappaport.
He coined it?
He's just, yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. So we are going to come up with, whether it's...
We'll
no
figure
research analysis.
We'll figure something else
Well,
out.
you could use a multitude of different sayings.
Doesn't matter. Same principle.
So I believe it's called Jack of All Trades.
We don't
right?
check up on shit.
Right.
How about that?
We could go raw. I'm fine with that. In honor of the Eddie Murphy, stand-up that will be coming out soon.
All right.
So Jack of All Trades, again, I believe it's called. So this is a documentary about this gentleman who's probably close to my age. He's probably 40. Maybe he's a little younger, a little older, whatever. He's looking to figure out why his baseball cards are worthless now. Like why he basically had this collection of cards. And the story is that his father was a pioneer in the baseball card collection industry, opened up what was known as like the most famous and first real baseball card store back in the 80s. Mm-hmm. And it twisted into this whole thing of the father just left the family one day. Just said, hey, listen, I have some stuff to go figure out. It was him, his sister, and his mother. I'll be back in like a week. Never came back. Ended up getting a whole other family. Like, so the whole, it's really good. It's actually good, though. You got to watch it. And then he goes and for the sake of the documentary, he has to find his dad to talk to him about the whole industry. He finally finds his dad, hasn't seen him in 20 plus years.
Wow.
It went off into something I've never thought it would go off into. Jose Canseco was in it. Like, so long story short, he sets out on this quest. What happened? So the baseball card industry boomed in roughly the late 80s.
Right.
In terms of prices. Beckett put out a price guide. So you were trying to soak up these cards, pay money for them with the idea that there was long-term value and growth, right?
Right.
Okay. So the long-term value and growth of something is usually based on, especially in terms of memorabilia, in terms of something you collect, is based solely upon how many they make, the rarity, condition. That's where it comes down to, right? So I remember there's like a Fleer or an Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card that was at the time $500.
Right.
There's a Jose Canseco card that was through the roof. The Don Mattingly rookie card, which I spent $100 of my hard-earned money, in 1985.
Right.
So, well, my hard-earned and my dad's.
Yeah.
So, and I was a collector. I was totally into baseball cards, as most kids were then. So these baseball card shops started popping up everywhere. There was 3 on every street.
You're right. I
Right?
remember it.
And the whole business was out of control. Okay? What we didn't know, what this general public didn't know, was I'm putting that Griffey Jr. rookie card in my glass case in my store, and I'm charging $499 for it. I'm making that number up. It was probably close to that, though. Someone's going to come in and buy this with the idea that in 20 years, this thing could be worth 20 grand.
Right.
But after they buy it, I'm going to go in the back, and the 5,000 copies that I have of it, I'm just going to pull another one out and put it right back in. So I'm Johnny's Card Shop on Main Street. I have 5,000 copies of it. Every store has 5,000 copies of it. Upper Deck is just pumping these things out by the sheet. That one card. Just pumping them out by the sheet. Nobody knew that. We all thought, hey, there's like 20 of these in the world. That's why I'm paying $500.
So they only
Never publicized
that they
100%.
they sold it directly to dealers.
And the dealers were scooping them up.
Yeah.
And they never, the card companies never put out numbers on production. So it was like, okay, we're going to make X amount of sets of the 88 season, right? And put them in a box. You could buy them I have a ton of them.
Yeah.
You could buy the whole set for that year in one box. Now, that one valuable baseball card, let's say that Ken Griffey Jr., okay, that's in there. But they were also making sheets of just that card. Just that Ken Griffey Jr. card. And they're running those off 1,000 at a clip. So the pool of how many cards they made, it's probably millions of those cards.
No idea.
And we didn't know as consumers.
Right.
And the dealers obviously weren't going to say anything, but they knew. They had that guy had 5,000 of those in the back. And he's pumping them out there for $499. Someone once a week is coming in and buying them because they think in 20 years I'm going to have one of the 500 that were printed.
And that wasn't the case. There was millions out there in the street.
So, really, it's a scam, right? It was a scam. The perceived value of these cards was based on what we thought was rarity. Turns out,
right, supply and demand.
Yeah, the supply was 100 times the demand.
Wow.
And as we got older, that people figured this out. So you don't figure it out first. Well, the hardcore collectors started to figure this out. That drove the prices down for everything.
But see, I thought there's a reemergence of...
Well, now there is, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Now, when you get those cards that are valuable, they're numbered. So you know which card. So, like, let's say there's a Bryce Harper baseball card. Now they have their pieces of their jersey in it or their bat. They do a lot of weird things.
Yeah.
But the card has a number. So I know I have number 238.
Out of...
And they know how many were made. They publicize that.
Got it. But so like the Ken Griffey Jr. card...
Yes.
You can't tell what number that is. No. You have no idea.
Came off a sheet.
Right. So the ones now... They're playing the long-term game.
Yes.
Right?
The super valuable ones they're numbered.
They're numbered.
Yes. And this is all to my knowledge. If I'm wrong, somebody tell me. But this is what I looked up and was reading. So again, I had no idea... Like the Don Mattingly rookie card I bought, I had no idea there was 2 million of these printed. Mm-hmm. Right? We thought, okay. So you used to buy the boxes with the packs in them with the gum, right? You would buy a full box, and on the box, Topps would put a picture of the Mattingly rookie and the Canseco rookie, almost fooling you into, oh, there's one of these in here. When they did the math, there was like a Mattingly or Canseco, whatever the card was, one of those cards in 1 out of every 8 boxes. You had to buy
Wow.
But then the mass production of those valuable cards was still being made.
Behind the scenes,
but they weren't putting them in the boxes. They put 1 out of every 8, right? So they were all in on it. Everyone was in on it. Except me.
You were out.
Maybe that's why I'm upset.
That's right. You don't hold a grudge.
So, if you notice, that's why, in a sense, the comic book industry, and this is, I'm diving deep into my geekdom here.
Yeah.
The comic book industry didn't ever really fall out like that because of that reason. There wasn't those mass-produced.
Yeah.
You know, the rare comics are rare. It's just what it is. There wasn't enough made.
Right.
The cards were saturated.
Yeah.
Saturated.
So, but is the card that baseball card's a much bigger market though?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it's a much bigger market.
But in reality, we all bought worthless pieces of cardboard that were it was almost like Ponzi in a way.
It was a Ponzi scheme.
Right? So we bought worthless pieces of cardboard based on who was on it, based on realistically what we thought the rarity of it was.
And the value was.
And the value at the time.
The value was just.
But Beckett made up this price guide. Where did those prices come from?
They were in on it too?
And I read it religiously. I was like, oh, I would look it up.
Right.
And
maybe they weren't in on it.
a little piece of me died.
Yeah, well,
when I read this,
yeah.
when I watched this, please watch it. It's worth it. It's worth it.
What's
Jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades. All right.
As far as I know, it's a shame.
Yeah,
it's a shame. So,
all right. What do we have? We got a little.
Wow.
Do we have a little top 10-ish?
Oh yeah, we're knee deep in the summer blockbuster movies.
That's right.
So I teased it with, again, 25 through 21 was a little light.
Yeah.
But it's 25 through 21.
Yep.
Okay? Now we're getting going. So my vision for today is, since we're at 21, I think we go all the way to, we'll do the next 10.
All right.
And then the next...
Yeah.
Okay,
so the final 5. So we got the next 10.
The next 10.
These are...
So we did 25 through 21. We will do now 20 through 16 and 15 through 11. So next episode we'll have our top 10.
All right, perfect.
So these are summer blockbuster movies. All-time summer blockbusters. Again, I'll give you the rules quick. It had to come out between June and the end of August. When back in the day, for me anyway, what I remember, summertime is when the blockbuster movies came out. Christmas and summertime, which made perfect sense.
But
I mean, now we're getting into movies. Yeah. We're getting into movies now.
All right, let's go.
This is some icon coming up.
Nice. All right.
Again, this is my list, my opinion.
Yeah.
I hope there's some angry people. I hope there are some people that disagree. That's why I do this. So we're going to start with number 20. Maybe at least top 5 of the most intense opening 15 minutes of any movie that you'll see. Probably top 5. Tom Hanks, Saving Private Ryan.
Unbelievable.
Right? The opening scene in that movie.
Unbelievable.
It brings you literally into the war.
I mean, there were stories about veterans who were there that got up from the movie
and left
and walked out.
Right.
They just couldn't take it.
The realism
it just brought him right back to it again.
Great story.
Yeah.
You know, he was basically he was Mickey Mantle in terms of he was doing every big role at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Probably still is in a way, but
there's a lot of good actors. That whole movie had so many different layers to it.
Yeah,
right?
the cast was superb.
Yeah,
you don't realize.
No, I mean,
right?
Yeah, Matt Damon.
Yeah, you know what's weird to me? This is how I think. Like you think about like the war movies, the platoons.
Yeah.
They always have great casts, but I feel like everyone kind of just gets. Maybe because they're just all soldiers, everyone just kind of gets.
They all kind of look the same.
It's
right?
in the wash.
Yeah.
Right. But the casts are always good.
Yeah.
Like think about Platoon, right? They had Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
I didn't even remember Charlie Sheen was in that movie. William Dafoe.
Right. Yeah.
You had guys, but I think because they're all look the same and they're all soldiers, it kind of meshes together in a way.
It does.
But Saving Private Ryan, I mean,
that was a haunting.
Yeah. And for Tom Hanks to be in a movie like that too is not usual.
You guys dying, calling from their mothers. It's just heartbreaking. That's
number 20. So you can imagine what's coming.
Yeah.
Right? Let's just flip it on its head from depressing what we just described to number 19. Tom Cruise in probably his breakout role, I think, Risky Business.
Yeah.
The dancing in the underwear.
Oh, it's great.
Air guitar, old time rock and roll scene.
I kind of forgot what that movie was about.
Risky Business?
Yeah, what was that about?
His parents went on vacation.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And he basically called a call girl, who I think was
Like Kelly.
Rebecca De Mornay,
Yes.
right? Was it
Yep.
Rebecca De Mornay?
Yep.
You can't get anything by me, can you?
No, you know.
Was
It's
it
an iron
Rebecca
trap.
De Mornay?
It's an iron trap.
Was it her? I think it was. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before.
No.
Very rare. Very wrong.
Yeah.
And his friends called. She came over and then brought her call girl friends. But then they started hanging like the whole week.
That's right.
Tom Cruise and her.
That's right.
They ended up. The pimp was trying to get her back. And then something happened with the dad's car. The dad had like a souped up sports car. Didn't they drive it off a dock? Right?
That's right.
Yes.
So I was getting Ferris Bueller in that one.
Similar in a way.
Similar.
And then his college interview for, I think it was like Princeton or something. The guy showed up to interview him at his house while all the prostitutes, and he got in.
Right.
Can't believe it.
Right. Oh, we want this guy.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you haven't seen it in a while, go
He's
watch
not a
it.
NERP.
Again.
I got to see it again.
He's not a NARP.
Yeah.
No.
NARP.
So that's 19. Old school, but I think it's great. It's great also to see Tom Cruise then,
Yeah.
right? Like before he lost his mind. 18. This movie's iconic for a lot of reasons. And it probably has nothing to do with the actors. And I don't even think there were any high-profile people. No offense to anybody in the movie. The original Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
I mean, that was groundbreaking.
It was groundbreaking.
Right.
It was haunting.
Yeah. I mean, anytime you bring dinosaurs into the picture at all,
Right.
it's got to be somewhat of a big deal.
Yeah, but they made it seem so real.
Like it could be possible.
Actually possible.
Yeah, the mosquitoes with the DNA.
Right.
Of course we could
It
grow
all made-
dinosaurs.
it all made sense.
They grew dinosaurs on a remote island
Right.
that they were going to use as an amusement park.
That probably could happen.
I would invest in that.
Yeah,
If it was a
right?
thing.
If it was a theme park, if it was a real dinosaur theme park where there's a
Yes.
slight chance of something crazy happening, like someone getting eaten, like
Yeah.
like at zoos now, kids jump over,
I mean,
or
can you imagine the hits online watching someone get eaten by a
oh,
dinosaur?
it'd be fantastic.
Billions.
Oh, it'd be
Billions of
fantastic,
hits.
right? Forget esports.
You can make a YouTube career on that one clip.
Yeah.
If it was your clip.
right. What happened? I got eaten by a.
I would go multiple times.
Yeah.
I mean, this day and age, what would that cost? 50 grand probably?
Right.
You'd have to pay 50 G's.
Could you imagine what that would do to these third world kind of tropical countries?
Oh, no.
Dominican Republic needs something like this right now because they're just killing people with alcohol. They need dinosaurs.
Tainted alcohol, no
Yeah,
less.
tainted alcohol. They need dinosaurs. They need Jurassic Park of Dominican Republic. And maybe it could be possible that it could be an all-inclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic. All-inclusive.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs, all you can eat, all you can drink, and then there's a slight chance that you'll be
Right.
eaten by a dinosaur.
What? Oh, your buddy died on vacation.
What
Was it
happened?
that tainted alcohol?
No.
Nah, Velociraptor.
Got him.
Got loose.
Got him.
Yeah, it was awful.
Where was he? He was in the pool. No, he's in a hammock.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of feel
too
like,
bad.
all right, well, what's the booze?
That was justified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen,
You're
if you're going to go,
you might as well go that way.
God, we're going down a rabbit hole.
I know. All right.
Number 8, that was 18.
Yeah.
Number 17, I know you love this movie. Number 17, Airplane.
Fantastic.
Fantastic in so many ways.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Right?
Fantastic in so many
many
ways.
layers to that.
Right.
There's not too many movies now that you as a family have quotes that you're still saying.
They don't make them anymore.
They don't.
They really don't. I was just going to
No.
bring that up.
Yeah.
They don't.
Because
Well,
right there.
You have two choices these days.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says. It's animation
Yeah.
or superhero based. What else is there? Cheesy horror. Okay. But your top.
Quentin Tarantino.
Well, I was going to throw him in
movie.
there. Him alone in my mind.
Yeah.
Which brings me to a top 10 list that we may be doing in the future.
Or Shamalama Lama.
He's been out of the game though.
Yeah.
It's your blockbusters now are Pets 2,
Yeah.
right? Animation,
Yeah.
which are all voiced by top level actors. and
Well, Disney has a top 5 right now.
Right.
Lion King.
there you go.
Yeah.
And then what was the biggest movie of the year? Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
It's Marvel and
Animation.
animation.
Yeah.
Everybody else is way behind.
Yeah. If you get lucky with an indie.
I know Ron Howard to get behind the camera, he'll make something great.
Yeah.
It's not close.
Yeah.
It's not close. I
I mean,
get it.
the last movie.
I get it.
I think there's the last couple that. I mean, Dumb and Dumber, without a doubt, they're still quotable.
Can I tell you that?
And
Can I
the
tell you
Grinch and Jim Carrey and the Grinch.
I've never laughed out loud in a movie theater harder than when I saw Dumb and Dumber.
Freaking
My
out.
freshman year of college.
The best.
I don't know if there was other things going on that made me laugh. I don't know. I don't remember. I just remember, like, at one point, I wasn't even watching the screen. I was laughing so hard. It got me.
Right?
It got me. It's a classic. That's a classic.
All right.
Don't
worry. I'm a limo driver.
Yeah. Just, it was every 10 seconds.
So you say there's a chance. Chris.
Right. With the bird's head fell off. Like, come on.
And our heads are falling off.
Just comic genius.
Genius.
Comic genius.
I don't know how much of that was actually ad lib too.
He's notorious for that.
He had to be just ad libbing
so
a lot
I would
of
think like he probably souped that up, right?
Yeah, he had to. Yeah.
He seems like a psychopath to me. Like a complete psychopath.
You have to be
I was
going
to say, right?
To be that funny and creative.
Like you
Robin Williams was a complete madman. You know, Jim Carrey's right there with him.
I'll tell you what, he plays good non-comedic roles too. He plays that scary guy really well too. Like he's done a couple roles lately.
Yeah.
That I think it's there.
Yeah. Melissa McCarthy just came out with a serious role too.
Yeah, come on.
You're not a big Melissa McCarthy?
I respect her work. But, I mean,
Jim Carrey he's a legend.
And speaking of McCarthy, he was married to Jenny McCarthy, right? I think he was too crazy for her. Can you imagine that?
Oh my gosh! And now she's
right in the Wahlburger dynasty.
She saw the chain of Wahlburger restaurants go up, and she jumped on that.
Talk about they're building an empire. The Wahlberg name.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They're just relatable. They're likable. You know.
Yeah. Let me just
mother
say.
Is
just
the
let me say
best.
something. But just let me say something. Yeah, Thelma is great. Just let me say something to Mark Wahlberg. Not that he'll ever hear this.
Yeah. You never know.
I love the guy as an actor. I love the guy in general. I think his whole thing. I get it. I like it. The guy gets up at 3:30 every morning, works out. I respect everything he does. It's awesome. But now it's like, I can't go on Howard Stern anymore. I can't do this anymore. I understand you evolve as you grow, and I understand you get into different things. I understand that. And I understand you never ever want to be associated with Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch anymore.
Right. Yeah.
But come on.
Yeah. Well, as kids are at that age now.
I get it.
You go on Howard Stern. I mean, the show Entourage was based on his life out there when he first went out.
I agree.
So, I mean, those guys are just, the stories.
So what are you saying? You got to grow up? Is that what you're saying?
No, but Howard's going to, he's going to unleash
Not anymore. Have you listened to Stern lately?
Yeah.
It's a completely different show.
Really?
Yeah. I can do I can talk for days about this one. It's not the Howard Stern show anymore.
It's a watered down version?
By design.
Yeah.
By design. But we're off topic.
We're off topic. All right.
That's another day.
All right. So what number are we on now?
That was 17, Airplane.
All right.
Number 16. This one started it.
Hospital? What's that?
Yeah. What the hell is a man doing with a bobby pin? This one started it all. This one started exactly what we were just talking about. The first Marvel movie, Iron Man, the original.
Yeah.
Started it all. And when you watched it, you didn't know that this was going to be the Kickstarter which blossomed into billions and billions of dollars. The whole Marvel universe started with that first Iron Man movie. Jon Favreau directed it.
Right. What do you think was the thing that did it?
In terms of?
Just what do you think was so appealing about it?
Well, I think, first of all, they nailed it with Robert Downey Jr.
Yes.
Which is huge. You need to get the right guy.
They got him.
Right? Like Superman had Christopher Reeves.
Yeah.
The originals.
Yeah.
I think that did a lot for the franchise. Like, you couldn't go just get, a guy, an upcomer.
Right.
You got him to play Tony Stark, and he was fantastic. I also think just the timing, it was ripe for something different. Like, it was the movie industry was just waiting, in my mind, for something. And that was it.
That was it.
And superhero movies in the past were always basically the movies that you knew were set up to fail. No one was going to like them. No one was going to watch them. They finally put the right budgets in. They got the right people to do them. And really what they did was they broke down the barrier of you don't have to be the comic book geek to enjoy these movies, right?
To me, and I agree with you. So my take on the whole thing was I love the vulnerability of the characters.
They made them human.
They made them human.
Right.
And it was hilarious.
Yes.
And then the last piece of resistance on that was the music.
Sure.
They crushed it with the music.
They brought it up to date.
They brought it up to date,
And that
so
was
it was
it.
so relatable. Yeah.
But here's the thing. If you are a comic book person,
yeah.
Marvel Comics, even DC for that matter, those characters, if you read the books, they were like that. They were all vulnerable. They all had... All the writers wrote all that stuff in. When they anytime they went to movies before the Marvel Studios, they left all that out when they made the movies. This was the first time they stayed true to the books.
Yeah.
That was what Marvel Studios said from the jump. We're going to make a movie that stays true to the books, which is also kind of weird because you may think, like, well, then only the comic book nerds are going to like it.
Right.
But not the case, right?
No, it was great.
Because it almost made it real.
It did.
Like, all right, Tony Stark could be a guy that exists,
Very much so.
right? To a lot of people, like when you get lost for that 2.5 hours, you forget, like, yeah, he could be a guy that exists.
Right.
You know, this guy Thor, that may happen.
Right.
He could just show up.
Right.
Like,
you never know.
Right?
Yeah, pops out of Area 51.
Wait,
Who's there?
This guy was a scientist. He got hit with gamma radiation and turned into a big rage monster. That could happen.
Chris, I think they're all... That's who's hiding in Area 51.
Yeah.
They're all there.
He could have the Incredible Hulk.
Thor, Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
They're all waiting. How great would that be?
I hope Sam Kinison and John Candy are there.
If the U.S. government has a sense of humor, they would just have all those actors there.
That would be
and
awesome.
when they come storm it,
That'd be awesome.
Right? Thor and all of them from the Avengers comes flying
That
out
would be
and start.
fantastic. The X-Men, everybody.
That's it. Everybody. Black Panther.
Right.
They all come flying out.
Followed by Biggie Smalls and Tupac.
Yeah.
And like John Candy.
Right.
And
Right. Walt Disney.
Yeah,
They all
God.
come flying out of there.
I just...
That's it. I've solved that issue.
But there's something about
Yeah.
thinking about these people storming the area
Oh
and
my
then
God.
just taser guns being fired and just dropping them like
Oh
flies.
my gosh, it's great.
Like,
Chewbacca comes out.
yeah,
Chewie and R2-D2.
I have to storm this thing. I think I have to be involved
It's
in
beautiful.
that. But to your point,
Yeah,
for someone like you,
Yeah.
who I'm going to see Iron Man no matter what.
yeah.
But the rest of the population, for the most part,
I had to get the reviews first. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, yeah, it is pretty good. It's funny.
right,
It's got great music.
relatable.
You got me.
right,
And I loved it.
and then from there,
Yeah,
the
right
whole
up.
thing just explodes,
Yep,
right?
exactly.
So that one started off.
All right.
We're now 15. Now these next,
Yeah,
this next batch, we're now 15 to 11.
yeah.
This is where it gets. Now we're going some icons here. Okay, number 15. I remember watching this as a kid too, and thinking like, oh my God, Alien,
Yeah,
right?
right.
The first one, the original first one,
Running through the corridors.
Oh.
It's so crazy.
And
Sigourney
just
Weaver.
feeling like they're trapped on that ship.
The head comes
The
right
heads
out
come
of the
out.
body.
Yeah. So Alien to me
Alien was great.
cracks the 15.
Yep.
This next one, everyone can appreciate of a certain age.
Yeah.
It's iconic to me. It probably is to you too. The original National Lampoon's Vacation.
That was the best.
It
was the best.
it did bring me back to just getting in the car and driving God knows where
Yeah.
over the summer with my parents.
Oh.
Right, going somewhere.
Oh.
Wally World.
Dad, we must have went 50 feet. Nothing to be proud of, son. Wow, 50. Yeah.
I mean,
Where's Annalise? She's tied to the roof. What happened? She died.
right.
Let's just throw her up there.
It's just you can't.
Yeah,
you
it's
can't
great.
beat it. Like
Yeah.
that. That to me defined.
It was fantastic. John Candy was the security
Oh, yeah.
guard.
You know,
Right?
he got $1 million just for that.
Is that right?
Yep. And at that time,
Yeah.
$1 million.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wally
talk
World.
about
Wally
you know.
World. It's fantastic. What else
as
you
a
got?
curator of Wally World.
Yeah, I love it.
13, number 13 on the list, Batman Dark Knight. So the Christian Bale,
Yeah.
that whole thing, Christopher Nolan directed, that the start of that.
Was that the one with the crazy motorcycle?
Yes, when you had the one that would
Yeah,
spin over.
Spin
and-
over.
Yes.
That was a good one.
Yep.
Yep.
So Dark Knight,
Yeah.
and if I'm not mistaken, the one with Heath Ledger. He was
Yeah.
Joker, right?
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Was that the one or am I wrong?
Yeah.
No, I'm not wrong.
No.
Yeah.
Well, there's a new Joker that just came out. It's supposed to, like everybody's saying, it's
I can't-
Oscar worthy.
I can't tell you how good they nailed. He's the perfect guy for the role.
Yeah.
He's the
Who
perfect
plays this one?
guy. Come on.
I haven't seen it. I'm lost.
Have you seen the trailer?
No.
Oh,
All right. I'll go watch the trailer.
I don't want to give anything away.
All right, don't.
I saw the full trailer
Yeah.
when I went to go see Spider-Man.
Did you get a little tingly?
It looks awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, it's as dark and twisted as anything, believe me. But it looks. I don't even think Batman's making an appearance in it. By the way, I think it's just
Joker.
And it looks on. You're right. It could be.
Yeah.
He could win. I'm not gonna ruin. You got to go watch.
Yeah, everybody said. I just saw that this morning on Twitter. It was like just right to Oscar.
Right.
Oscar worthy performance.
I would be shocked.
Yeah.
If he's not in the running.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
All right.
So Dark Knight 13, 12. This is one that's. I mean, everyone in the world knows this. Came out over the summer. Had a Christmas theme though. It was a Christmas theme. So Bruce Willis, Die Hard.
Fantastic. First one?
Yeah, oh yeah.
First one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Die Hard.
Yeah. It was great.
And I wish I was old enough to remember, like, was that movie popular right off the jump?
Right off the jump.
It was.
Yeah, because it still had the little. I think it was a Russian influence, right? It was. Still
Oh yeah,
a little
Hans
bit
Gruber.
Yeah, there's a bunch of there's some tension there, and it's still
Yep.
beat the Russians and.
There was always a tall guy with long blonde hair. Everyone had that
Always.
villain, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was perfect.
John McClane.
Yeah.
Wearing no shoes or socks.
No, it was fantastic.
Danny
Glover.
Danny Glover?
Danny
No,
Glover?
that's
No.
Lethal Weapon.
Lethal. Oh, that's right.
No, it was the cop.
Hard,
That
that's
remember
right,
the cop.
that's right.
The cop that was is the guy he was talking on the walkie was the dad from Family Matters.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know his
Jeez.
name, but what a movie!
Well, awesome.
I mean, listen, you knew what was going to happen,
Right.
Well, everything in between though is the
Right.
key. Guy was wearing no shoes or socks the whole time.
Yeah. How great is that?
He
Just
saved-
stepping on
saved
glass,
everybody.
shoot through it. Yeah.
Nakatomi Plaza.
Yeah, that's
the name
right.
of the building.
That's right.
Right, and it was a Christmas party.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go figure.
Shoot 'em up.
Number 11, one of my all-time favorite movies. This is one of my all-time favorite movies. Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis. It's just
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I remember going to Ghostbusters with my sister in the movie theater, and I remember vividly there was a woman there. It was either mom or grandma with like 4 little kids, and it's like, oh, they must have thought, oh, it's Ghostbusters. This has to be for kids. About 40 minutes in, everybody grabbed their stuff and they just walked out.
That was it.
I think it was after like one of Bill Murray's I mean, there was foul language in that movie.
That's right.
There was everything.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. That movie was fantastic.
It was.
I watch that. If it comes on now, I watch it.
Yeah, it was great.
God, I can't remember.
Down at the firehouse.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah.
The hurts that they souped up.
Yep. Iconic.
Yeah. Was his name Edward Peck, the guy who was the from the EPA who wanted to shut the power grid down?
That's right.
Right? It was just from Rick Moranis was fantastic in that movie.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of the guy who played the 4th one when they hired a 4th guy. His name in the movie was Winston Zedmore, but I can't remember his actual name.
No.
He was great. Ghostbusters for me. Now think about it. That's number 11. We didn't even get into the top 10 yet.
We're going to cover top 10 next show.
Yeah, we can't. This is a slow bleed. So, man, wow, what a show!
Awesome. Esports, movies, music.
The baseball card scandal that rocked me.
And go see on Netflix. Make sure you're watching.
Jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades.
It was heartbreaking and heartfelt at the same time.
SportsBiz Radio. This is Rob and Chris. We'll see you next time. They're coming after us again.
Oh yeah, this will do it.